Hello, divine creations, divine marvels, children of God. Thank you so much for dropping by this video. Thank you to those who are joining in live. So, what I'm going to be sharing today is based on the teachings of a man named Bruno Gröning, one of the most Christ-like beings I've ever heard of. And when I say Christ-like, I'm being literal. He would say to paralyzed people, he would say, stand up. And paralyzed people would stand up and walk. Blind people would regain their vision. Sometimes he would just say to people, you're not sick, you're healthy. And their illness would vanish. This happened literally tens of thousands of times. And during this meeting, and during this video, I invite you to do something that maybe is new for you. And it's one of the things that he taught, and it's actually common to many traditions, and that's that there is an energy or a grace or a force, a power that we can all take in for our health, our healing, our wellness, vitality, and ultimately what could be called liberation, salvation, or enlightenment. And it's very simple. We observe the body with the will to absorb this energy. So during this time together, I invite you to close your eyes, listen, and observe your body, intending to take in positive life healing energy. For more information, you can see my website, www.thehealingstream.org. For more information about Bruno Gröning or how to take this energy in. So I've been really sitting with what it is, what's it like to be a human being? Like, it's what we do every day. Like every day that's what we're doing, right? We're being human beings. But have we ever asked ourselves, what's it like? Like, what's my experience like being a human being? And even more deeply, what is it that I want and need as a human being? And I want to take it even deeper than that, because we go through our day having many, many wants and many things that we might say we need. Like, I need some chocolate, which we don't actually need chocolate, though it sure can feel like it sometimes. But there are things that we need, and there are to thrive, to be happy. And the question is, what are those things? But even more so, I want to ask, underneath all those desires and wants, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with desires and wants, just inviting all of us to inquire a little bit. What's our deepest yearning? Our deepest desire? Is there one thing? What's our deepest heart wish? It's a fascinating question. I spend my days asking myself, what do I want, and pursuing it, and or doing things, from the past. I've decided, for example, I want to offer these meetings. I decided that in the past, and here I am doing that, following a desire. But what's underneath it all? Is there? Do we have a deepest yearning? But it's a process. For a very long time, I believed my deepest yearning was for a spiritual partnership, meaning a romantic relationship that was based on spiritual principles. And I can say to some extent that's still very, very strong within me. It's still a very driving force in my life, but I've recognized that there's even something deeper than that. There were many years where I said, all I want is God. All I want is to be enlightened. And there's some truth to that. I think many of us on the path have felt that or thought that. And here we are as human beings with all these desires, with the pleasure and pain of life, with the victories and the intense challenges, the joys. So, given our human experience, what do we really want? Well, the conclusion I've come to through my own experience and through the help of some of Bruno Gruning's teachings is that what I want is constant companionship, constant connection, constant intimacy, constant presence. There's different words and sort of different flavors of the same thing, and each person here might have their own word for it. Constant love. Some people would say constant peace, security. But for me, the one that really nails it is constant companionship. And that's a bit tricky. How to get constant companionship, and what am I talking about, and what does this have to do with spirituality anyway? Well, Bruno Gruning very simply said that God has everything that we need, but that we human beings have forgotten this. Now, this is something that mystic sages, philosophers, gurus, they've all been saying that, each in their own way, maybe with some variation, but that there is a reality that we're all desperately seeking. And just like that country song, looking for love in all the wrong places, that's what most of us are doing. We're desperately hungry and thirsty for something. And it's like we're desperately hungry and thirsty, and we're going to a hardware store. And maybe they have some fried corn nuts there. And or even worse, we're going to a clothing store where they don't have any food or drink. But that's not to say that through our lives we don't have pleasant experiences. Not at all. Those of you who've watched my channel or know me a little bit, know that I'm an explorer. I love to play and dance and travel. I love enjoying life. And I wouldn't trade any of the adventures or experiences I've had. They've all been precious, and I intend to continue having more and more. And lately I'm just asking, what do I really want? What do I really want in this life? What does Bruno Gruning mean? God has everything we humans need. What on earth could that mean? Because of course, the things, when I think about what do I want off the top of my head, it's like, I want happiness. I want to live in nature. These are just my current desire list. Like I want to be happy. I want to live in nature. I want to have lots more friends. I want a partner. I want to be doing service work. I want this. I want that. But pretty much all those things I just mentioned are things. And what if, not that I shouldn't and won't pursue any and all of them, but what if fundamentally looking for my happiness in those things is like being hungry and thirsty and going to a toy store? Oh no, a toy store might have some candy. So let's say a clothing store. Going to a clothing store to satisfy myself. Or let's say a toy store, where I can get some candy and probably some soda that'll sort of quench the quench the desire, but not satisfy it. So when speaking to someone, Bruno Gröning once said, and one of the key parts of his teaching was taking in this energy, and as he said, to be connected, linked, joined, united with God. That is everything. And so he once said, you need to, I'm going to paraphrase it, but in essence, you need to yearn for this divine energy. In essence, yearn for the energy of God the same way a husband and wife yearn for each other sexually. That's how intense we need to yearn for God. So that can let us know, so this idea of wanting God, of desiring closeness with God, is not new to Bruno Gröning or any tradition. Pretty much every mystical tradition talks about it. And if we really listen to what Bruno said, which was, once again, you need to yearn for the divine energy, the same way a husband and wife yearn for each other sexually. And again, I'm paraphrasing. If we're not yearning for God in that way, or this divine energy in that way, then we don't understand God or the divine energy. So I've been working at this for a little bit of time, and I spend some time every day yearning for God with all my heart. I can't say quite to the point in which I would yearn for a partner sexually. Getting closer. But this burning desire for closeness to the divine. And so, in every moment that I'm not yearning for the divine in that way, I'm starting to recognize that I'm in a state of ignorance. I'm not putting myself down, I'm just saying what is. Now, if, let's say I'm in a hotel room, and let's say on the other side of the hotel room is a lawyer who has a deed to the most beautiful oceanfront property in Hawaii. And next to the lawyer is a billionaire who wants to give me $100 million. And then next to the billionaire is the most loving, stunningly beautiful woman on the planet. And I'm just sitting here and not running towards that side of the room, then I'm in a state of ignorance. The question is the same thing true towards God? Because it's like, if it was like, if those people just walked in the door and they were like, if you want these things, I would obviously need to get to know the woman a little bit, but the other two, I'm clear that I want, and I'm clear that I want to get to know this person, this huge-hearted, stunningly beautiful woman, and they were like, and you have 3 seconds to get over here. It'd be like out of the chair over there in 1 second. All of us would, and you might need to change. It might be. We each have different life circumstances. We each want different things. You can sort of fill in. You can fill in your own what 3 things you would put over there. But wouldn't we be over there in a heartbeat? Maybe half a heartbeat. So what I'm inviting us to reflect on is, does connection with God, with the divine, and different people have different words. Some people call it energy, presence, love, big love. Does that give us everything we want? Is that everything we've been dreaming of and yearning for and burning for and seeking every which way? It's not for me to tell you that, yes, that's what you've been wanting. But I can say that's what I've been wanting all my life. And that's what I mean by constant companionship. Don't take my word for it. Don't take Bruno Gruning's word for it. Don't take Christ's word for it, who said, it's written, he said, seek ye first the kingdom of God, and then all these things will be added unto you. The entire essence of the Hindu tradition is finding eternal happiness. The Buddhist tradition is finding eternal peace or bliss. And of course, the Christian tradition is based on heaven, eternal happiness, and eternal, favorable, wonderful circumstances, as is Islam. I'm not familiar enough with Judaism to comment on sort of the end goal that Judaism points to. But I invite each of us to really reflect, what on earth, and it might not be something on earth, do we want more than anything else? And what I've come to is this recognition of constant companionship. Is it possible? Many mystics and teachers have said yes in their direct experience. And there are certain beings on this planet. It's written that Christ was one of them. Bruno Gruning said that he's one of them. Bruno Gruning said, really believe, I'm with you always. I'm not just saying this. And when I say constant companionship, what I'm talking about is the ongoing experience of connection. Because I could have a constant companion. If Bruno Gruning is right, he is with me always. If the words that we have in the Bible are accurate, that Jesus said that and Jesus was right, then Christ is with me always. And I don't think they're the only two. But if I'm not tuned into them, it's like having money in the bank and not knowing my account number, not knowing which bank I have it at. So thank you so much for joining in. And I invite people to really reflect and discover if what I'm saying is true or not.